He did everything right. He saved, he skipped the vacations, he drove the same car for 12 years. He watched his bank balance climb, slowly, like a man climbing a hill that never ends. And at 51, he sat at his kitchen table, looked at the number in his account, and realized something cold and quiet. He was still not free. $40,000, a lifetime of saying no, and it wasn't enough to buy back even a single year of his life. How does that happen? How does a person follow every rule they were taught about money and still end up trapped? That's what we're going to talk about. Because the truth about wealth isn't loud. It isn't on a billboard. It's hidden inside the things you were taught to feel proud of. Most people believe saving money makes you rich. It doesn't. Saving money keeps you alive. That's all it was ever built to do. There's a difference between surviving and escaping, and almost nobody is told what it is. Surviving means you have enough to make it to next month. Escaping means you never have to think about next month again. You were trained for the first one. You were never shown the second. And here's the part that stings. The system doesn't need you broke. It just needs you busy. Busy working, busy spending, busy feeling responsible while you quietly stay stuck. So tonight, we're going to take apart the machine, piece by piece. And by the end, you're going to see your own money differently than you ever have before. Let's start with the most dangerous belief of all, the responsible saver. Picture her. She makes $65,000 a year. She's careful. She puts $400 a month into her savings account, the way her parents told her to. She feels good about it. She feels safe. And she should feel something. But safe isn't the right word, because that money is sitting in an account earning almost nothing, 0.5% if she's lucky, while the cost of her life rises 3, 4, 5% every single year. She thinks she's building. She's actually melting. Slowly, quietly, in a place she was told was safe. And she should feel something. But safe isn't the right word. Because that money is sitting in an account earning almost nothing, 0.5% if she's lucky, while the cost of her life rises 3, 4, 5% every single year. She thinks she's building. She's actually melting. Slowly, quietly, in a place she was told was safe. This is the first trap. They taught you to protect your money. They never taught you to grow it. And protection without growth is just a slower way to lose. Which brings us to the thief nobody sees. Inflation. It doesn't break into your house. It doesn't steal your wallet. It just makes everything cost a little more, every year, forever. Think about it. A gallon of milk, a tank of gas, a month of rent. 10 years ago, those numbers were smaller. And you remember. You feel it every time you check out at the store, and the total is higher than it should be. That $10,000 you saved? In 10 years, it buys what $7,000 buys today. You didn't spend it. You didn't touch it. And it still got smaller. This is why saving alone can never make you wealthy. The dollar in your account is a melting ice cube. The longer you hold it without moving it, the less of it you have. And the worst part is, you can't feel it happening. There's no alarm. No pain. Just a slow erosion you only notice when it's too late. So if the saving account is melting, why do we keep filling it? Because something else is happening at the same time. Something we do to ourselves. It's called lifestyle inflation. And it's the trap you build with your own hands. Here's how it works. You get a raise. Maybe you go from $60,000 to $75,000. You feel like you made it. So you upgrade. a nicer apartment. The rent goes from $1,400 to $2,000. A better phone plan. A few more dinners out. Nothing crazy, just a little more comfort. And 6 months later, you have more money coming in, and the exact same amount left over at the end of the month. You earned more, and you're not $1 closer to free. This is the cruelest part of the middle class story. Every step up the ladder gets longer. The reward for working harder is a more expensive version of the same cage. The car gets nicer, the house gets bigger, the closet fills up, and the freedom never comes, because every raise just buys a heavier life. Wealth is invisible. Say that to yourself again. Wealth is invisible. The money that makes you free is the money you don't see, because you never spent it. Now let's talk about the smallest cuts. The ones that bleed you without you ever noticing. The subscription economy. $9.99 for the streaming, $15 for the music, $12 for the cloud storage, $50 for the gym you visit twice a month, the food delivery app, the second streaming service, the third. None of it feels like anything. That's the design. They picked those numbers on purpose, small enough to ignore, quiet enough to forget. But added up, $200 a month, gone before you've bought a single thing you can hold. $2,400 a year, leaving your account in pieces so small you never feel the wound. Now here's the part that should bother you. That same $200 a month invested instead of subscribed becomes something. Over 30 years, at the market's normal return, it grows into more than $200,000. You didn't choose between movies and money. You chose between distraction and freedom. And the system made sure the distraction felt cheaper. The system profits from your distraction. Every dollar that keeps you entertained is a dollar that can't set you free. And they know it. But subscriptions are small. The big one is sitting in your driveway, the car payment. This is where status quietly eats people alive. The average new car payment in America is over $700 a month now. $700 for something that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. And people do it for a reason that has nothing to do with transportation. They do it to be seen, to pull into the parking lot and feel like they're doing okay, to look successful to people who aren't even watching. Here's the math nobody wants to hear. $700 a month for the rest of your working life, because the moment one car is paid off, you trade it for the next. That's the loud money trap. You buy the look of wealth and you sell the chance at the real thing. Meanwhile, the actually wealthy person, often driving something boring, something paid off, something forgettable, because they figured out the secret early. Looking rich and being rich are opposites. The energy you spend on one is stolen directly from the other. Money buys peace, not status. But status is louder. Status begs for attention. Peace just sits there quietly, and almost nobody chooses it, because nobody's watching when you do. So now you see the traps. The melting savings, the silent inflation, the lifestyle creep, the 1,000 tiny subscriptions, the car you bought for strangers. But knowing the trap isn't enough. You have to understand the one move that changes everything, the difference between saving and investing. Saving is putting your money in a drawer. Investing is putting your money to work. One protects you, the other multiplies you. When you save, your dollar sits still and slowly shrinks. When you invest, your dollar goes out into the economy and earns more dollars. And those dollars earn dollars too. The simplest version of this isn't complicated, and it isn't a secret. It's called an index fund. You're not picking stocks, you're not gambling. You're buying a tiny piece of 500 of the biggest companies in America, all at once. When the economy grows, you grow with it. Historically, that return averages around 7 to 10% a year after inflation. Not in a straight line. Some years it falls, some years it soars. But over decades, it has only ever gone one direction. This is the line between surviving and escaping. The saver protects what they have. The investor multiplies what they have. Same person, same paycheck, completely different ending. And the engine that makes it all work is something so quiet that most people never feel its power until it's too late to use it: compounding. Let me show you how it actually feels, because the math is one thing and the feeling is another. You invest. Year 1, almost nothing happens. Year 2, a little more. Year 5, you wonder if it's even worth it. The growth is so slow you could cry. And then something shifts. Around year 10, your money starts earning more than you're putting in. Around year 20, it starts to run. And around year 30, it explodes. Not because you did anything new, but because your earlier dollars have been quietly working the whole time, having babies, and those babies are having babies. Here's a number that should stop you cold: $500 a month. That's it. Invested steadily from age 25 at average market returns becomes well over $1 million by 65. But wait. Start the same 500 at 35 instead of 25? You don't lose 10 years of contributions. You lose more than half the final amount. Because the dollars you invest youngest are the ones that have the most time to multiply. Time is the ingredient, not income, time. The cruelest truth in money is that the most powerful day to start was years ago, and the second most powerful day is today. Small daily habits shape your financial destiny. Not big moves, not lucky breaks. Quiet, boring repetition that almost nobody has the patience to keep. And speaking of money people walk right past, there's one giveaway happening at millions of jobs right now that people are leaving on the table. The 401k match. Here's the deal. Most employers offer: you put money into your retirement account and they match a chunk of it, often dollar for dollar, up to maybe 4 or 5% of your salary. Read that again. Dollar for dollar. If you put in 5%, they put in 5%. That's an instant 100% return on your money before it even starts to grow. There is nothing else in finance that does that. Nothing. And yet millions of Americans don't contribute enough to get the full match. They walk past free money every single paycheck because the form was confusing or the future felt far away. On a $60,000 salary, that's $3,000 a year your employer wants to hand you. Over a career with growth, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars you simply declined to pick up off the ground. The wealthy don't leave free money behind. They take every dollar the system is willing to give them, and they let it compound in silence. Which brings us to the difference that defines everything. The difference between the two kinds of rich. There's loud rich, and there's quiet rich. Loud rich is the one you can see. The watch, the car, the bottle service, the vacation photos, the constant performance of success. Loud rich is often drowning because the costume of wealth is expensive and the bill comes every month. Quiet rich is the one you'd never notice. The neighbor in the old sweatshirt who owns 3 houses outright. The guy who drives the 10-year-old sedan and has never once worried about a medical bill. Quiet rich doesn't need you to know. That's the whole point. Because real wealth isn't something you show. It's something you feel when nobody's around. It's the silence in your chest when the bills are paid and the future is handled, and you don't have to perform for anyone. Freedom is quiet. It doesn't post. It doesn't flex. It just exists, calm and steady, in people who stopped trying to look rich long enough to actually become it. Consumerism keeps people trapped by selling them the costume instead of the body. They buy the look of the destination and never make the journey. And they wonder why they feel poor in a closet full of expensive things. So what is all of this really for? Why does any of it matter? Imagine waking up on a Tuesday, and the first feeling isn't dread. Imagine your car breaks down, and it's an annoyance, not a crisis. Imagine your kid gets sick, and the only thing on your mind is your kid. Imagine saying no to a job that's killing you, because you can. Imagine an entire month where the word money never once made your stomach tighten. That's it. That's the whole prize. Not a yacht, not a mansion, peace. The ability to live a day without fear riding on your back. Money buys peace, not status. We've said it 3 times now because it's the one thing the world spends billions trying to make you forget. Every ad, every feed, every shiny thing is engineered to convince you that the next purchase is the peace. It never is. The peace was in the dollars you kept. Freedom isn't a number in an account. Freedom is a feeling in your body when the fear finally goes quiet. And here's where we land. That man at the kitchen table, the one who saved for 30 years and was still not free. He didn't fail because he was lazy. He worked harder than almost anyone. He failed because he was given the wrong map. He was taught to protect his money instead of grow it, to look responsible instead of become free, to fill the drawer instead of plant the seed. You were given that same map. Most people were, and the system is happy to let you follow it all the way to the end. Because a busy, responsible, quietly shrinking saver is the most profitable kind of person there is. But you don't have to. The shift doesn't require more money. It requires a different relationship with the money you already touch. Move it from the drawer to the engine. Take the free match. Skip the costume. Let time do the thing only time can do. Wealth is invisible. Freedom is quiet. And the most radical thing you can do in a world built to keep you spending is to quietly, patiently build a life that no longer needs anyone's permission. The man at the table is still here. The number can still change. The clock is still running. The only question left is the one no ad will ever ask you. Are you building a life that looks free or one that finally is?